Prashna energy. Yeah, good.
So, thank you for being with us. I would like to ask if you can put light on some basic things that we need to know or understand about chakras. And
Yeah,
yeah,
I'll take it up. It's a very vast subject, very vast subject. And what do you call, in a small talk, it's very difficult. So I'll just try to give you an overview.
basic.
And the thing is that the Western authors have taken from the Indian texts and then they have expanded and expanded upon it. So in the original Indian text, there is just the talk of the chakras, and uh, everything is then in a yantra, and those yantras they talk about certain what you call uh, things which happen in the body and in the nervous system and all. But all the talk about the chakras relating to health and all that has come from the Western authors, right? It is not in the old Indian texts as such. Uh, there are two or three what you call theories about the creation of the universe, right? And one of the most prevalent in the Indian texts is that of sound, that everything was created out of mantra. Mantra. So, uh, of course, then there's another theory which everything was created out of chitti or prana, right? But if you look, these are just looking at the truth from different dimensions, right? Now, we say in the beginning there was Shiva, and Shiva himself was very lazy. He did not want to make the universe. So he created Shakti, and Shakti was given the, what do you call, responsibility of creating the universe. Shakti in her original state is also known as, what do you call, Prakruti. And to create the universe, she divided herself into 51 different packets of energy. Right? Now, of course, in the Indian system, in yoga they will say 61 packets, in tantra they will say 64 packets, but we'll take it as 51 packets of energy. So she separates from Shiva, and like a snake she coils around the backbone, around the backbone. And there are 51 coils. There are 51 coils. Now, when she finishes her journey, uh, she finds that 3 coils are remaining. 3 coils are remaining. And she wraps those 3 coils where today in our body is what we call the perineum, right? The perineum. And the 3 coils which remained are lying there. They are called as sesh, the residue. So in the Indian iconography, we have that Vishnu is sleeping on sesh, right? So, right? And another name for those 3 coils which are lying there is the Kundalini energy. Kundalini energy. Now, these, what do you call, 48 coils which remained, right? They were the different letters of the Sanskrit alphabet. The different letters of the Sanskrit alphabet. So I'm not going to take the higher chakras, I'll just take the lower chakras today. So 16, what you call, wrapped around the throat area, right? And then 12 around the heart area, 10 around the navel area or the solar plexus, what you call, 6 somewhere where the sex organ touches the body, right? In the woman it will be the rear side of the vagina, and last in the perineum what were 4 letters. So then the remaining, they come in the brain, I won't talk about them. So we have about 44 letters of the Sanskrit alphabet, which are the coils of Shakti, the power which created the universe. And because the universe was created through sound, right? Through sound, that is why these letters are the, what you call, cause of everything, the primal cause of everything. Later on, these letters were given what you call formations as goddesses and devis and all that. But initially they were just matrukas of sound. I'll go into what is a matruka. So, say there are 4 letters at Mooladhara, sh, s, ya, right? So they are vibrating at a certain frequency, and because they are vibrating at a certain frequency, they are what you call giving the shape of a chakra, or they're giving the shape of you can say a flower, right, with so many petals, Now this is the chakra system as such is a part of an inner instrument called the manas, right? So we have 3 inner instruments, right? The manas, the aham or the ego, and the buddhi or the intelligence, right? 3 inner instruments. These inner instruments are functioning all the time, and they are a part of what is called the manas system. So these, what you call, they are not actually chakras, they are actually letters of the alphabet, right? Which when vibrating they look like chakras, and what do you call, now they have certain properties and all, we'll just go into that, and they are part of this manas system. So in man there is a physical body, right? And beyond the physical body we say there is an emotional or astral body, but between the emotional and astral body is this manas system. Now, just to give you an idea of how these inner instruments work, then we'll go ahead in this. That supposing I go to a shop, right, and I say I'm in this shop and this is a packet of excellent sweets, right? And now how does my, what do you call, how do these inner instruments work? So first what goes, the manas goes out. I'm giving it to you in a very, what do you call, ordinary way. I don't want to make it complicated because there's a whole physics with this, right? And that physics is in Darshan Shastra. But we can, someday if you're interested, we can go really deep into it. So the manas, it is something molecular. It is not cellular. Our brain is cellular, right? The manas is molecular. And it goes out and it takes the shape of that box of sweets, It takes the shape of that box of sweets. It breaks down that box of sweets into electromagnetic impulses. Into electromagnetic impulses. In the Shastra, those electromagnetic impulses are called as tanmatra. Right? Tanmatra. Again, there are many Shastras, so in some they are called as tanmatra in the main Shastra, but there are also other Shastras where they are called as atoms and subatomic particles also. We'll just take one word, tanmatra, because that terminology has been used by Krishna in the Gita, right? So they are broken down into electromagnetic particles called tanmatras. When you later read Tauriyaji's works, The Purpose of Birth and Death and his other inner discipline and the Yoga Sutra, he calls these tanmatras as incoming impulses. Incoming impulses. Now, those tanmatras come in through the 5 sense organs. They come in through the 5 sense organs, and they recreate the image of this box of sweets on the screen of the chitta, or the screen of the mind. Right? Now, in Sanskrit, chitta is a very vague word because it is used for mind also, it is used for attention also, and it is used for memory pattern also. Right? So there is no clear definition of chitta, just that which makes you aware. That which makes you aware. So, when I'm looking at the box of sweets, I'm not looking at the one in the shop. What am I looking at?
Image.
And those electromagnetic impulses have recreated on the screen, and that which is impressing me as a box of sweets, can you get it? Is the one which is created in my mind. Right? So this is the function of the manas. Right? Now, before it recreates that image, it has analyzed that image as if the image has gone through a laboratory. And that laboratory is the laboratory of the 5 chakras. Right? Now we'll go into that. So then the, what you call, aham, or the ego, it labels that box of sweets according to like and dislike. So it puts a label on it, like or dislike. Of course, it is sweets, so it will put a label like. Then the ego takes that to the inner intelligence, which is called the buddhi. And the inner intelligence, the buddhi, throws light upon it. Now the buddhi does not have its own light. The light comes from the soul inside. The soul lends its light to the buddhi. So the buddhi throws light upon it, and it says it's a box of sweets. Now, the buddhi has the power of discrimination and the power of taking a decision. Right? So these are the 2 powers given to the buddhi. So it puts its light upon it. It says this is a box of sweets, and the ego has put a label that he likes it, but we are not supposed to eat it, because if we eat it, we'll get diabetes. Right? So we are not supposed to eat it. So he passes on this order to the ego, the aham. Right? The aham says the buddhi has said not to eat it, put it back on the table in the shop. He passes on the order to the manas. Right? As the manas was connected to the organs of sensation which came in, right, the organs of knowledge, it is also connected to the organs of action, the hands and the feet and etc. So that it tells the hand, you pick up that box and put it back on the counter, you are not supposed to buy this box. And this is how these inner instruments work. Now, I'll go say, if I go the next day again into that sweet shop, right, and again the manas will go out, it will take a picture of that box, bring in the electromagnetic impulses, recreate the image. Again, the aham will, what you call, put a label that I like it. But by then, the memory of what has happened previously has now been recorded in the mind, and that memory is called as chitta. Can you see? Now we have one more thing. First we had man, that is manas, buddhi, that is the intelligence, and ahankar, the ego. Now we have one more factor to contend with, and that is the chitta, right? So the chitta is the recording of what happened yesterday. What happened yesterday. And the chitta will tell the ego, last time you took it to that guy inside, the intelligence, he said not to eat it, you bypass him, let us go back to the manas and tell him that you buy this box of sweets. He does not know whom the order has come from, right? And so we bypass the, what you call, inner intelligence, the buddhi, right? And we buy that box of sweets. Can you understand this? This is how the inner instruments are working. And as this becomes a habit, the rest of our life, we bypass the intelligence completely, right? We are only working through memory. We are only working through memory. Now what happens in this is our perception of life changes. Right? I see this outside and I say tree. But that tree should have come later on. First it should have gone to the buddhi. But in between, chitta has come in. Can you understand? Chitta has come in and labeled it as a tree, and I feel I've understood it. So instead of intelligence now, we use what is called intellect. And rest of our life, we never use our intelligence. It remains a dark room inside, right? And that is why the first sutra in the Yoga Sutra is Yoga Chitta Vritti Nirodha. You pause that vritti which the chitta is creating, then only the inner light can work. Can you get what it is? Okay. Yeah. Go ahead.
So, meaning what I understood is like each time we have to use our intelligence. We should not depend on our chitta or memory. Is that right?
Yeah, the chitta uses intellect, reasoning, logic, thought. The intelligence uses light. Can you understand? It throws light upon. But now we become so much what you call slaves of memory that we spend our whole life without light. Without light. So the whole process of yoga is to go back to the impression of the tree comes in. The chitta does not label it as tree, and the buddhi throws light upon it, and we first understand it without memory, and then we want to use memory, we bring in memory. But memory today comes in automatically. So that is why it is called as darshan. Darshan means the science of seeing, right? So it is called as yoga darshan. Are we really having darshan, or are we putting a label onto what we see in life, right? And this creates a false attitude in man that because I've been able to label it as tree, I know what it is. We don't know what it is. Get it? Okay, now but we are talking about the chakras. So these chakras were formed by these 51 letters of the Sanskrit alphabet, right? Now, this is an inner structure, and the Theosophists have called it as the etheric body. That is the physical body, the astral body, and in between there's this big screen of the manas called the chakras, right? And this whole inner anatomy is ready when the child is 7 months old, right? So when the child is 7 months old, this whole inner anatomy is released. That is, the whole inner computer has been made, right? What does it now require?
So I have a question.
Yeah, please.
So 7-month-old means like 7-month old in our...
In the mother's womb.
Not after born, right?
No.
Okay.
Right. Okay. We are coming to be born.
Okay, yeah.
We are coming to be born. Right? Okay. Right? So, what does the computer now need? How do you work your computer? With what?
You have to plug in.
Right. Now it needs a source of electricity. It needs a source of electricity. So at 7 months in the mother's womb, the computer is ready. And the computer has two parts, the cellular part which we call the brain, right? And the molecular part which we call the astral and the manas, right? Which has 3 instruments we saw and 4 instruments if you include chitta. Is this clear now? Right? Okay. Now, at the moment of birth, when the child cries, right? And when the child, why does the child cry? Because there's a spark inside which is very painful, right? And that spark is the entry of the spirit, the entry of the Atma. And this Atma, it comes in and it gives a spark to these 2 chakras, Mooladhara and Swadhisthana, the 2 chakras. They get activated and one becomes the sympathetic nervous system and one becomes the parasympathetic nervous system. Can you see in the physical body, right? And then that spark travels up the backbone, exciting all these chakras, right? Which are till now are just a structure, giving them life because electricity has come in. That electricity is the divine electricity. And the day that electricity leaves our body, this whole thing will fall down. That's the end of it, right? So this movement of inner electricity up the backbone, right? In yoga terms, it is called as Sushumna. Right? You want to ask something?
Yeah, I just want to ask, like you said, when the child born, right? So you mean soul enters after birth, like when the child is born, that time soul enters the body?
The spirit.
Spirit, okay.
The spirit.
Okay. Soul is already there.
Soul is from the first month till the moment of conception, the soul is roaming around there only.
Yeah, okay, yeah.
The soul is roaming around there,
Okay.
right?
Yeah, got it.
And at the 7th month, the soul sort of is nearly in the body, you can say. It is the spirit which enters, which gives the electricity, the Atma, not the Jeev. The soul is the Jeev.
Okay.
Can you get it?
Yeah, I got it.
You want to know the difference between soul and we'll take it a little later. I'll just, right? Because otherwise this will interrupt what we
Yeah,
are.
no, I got the basic idea.
You got the
Yeah.
basic idea. Okay? Now, here the soul will take a certain form. The soul will take a certain form. And that form is what you call the electromagnetic field of the Atma. Can you get it? So now what is happening? Electricity has moved up and this electricity is perpetual till we die, right? Where it comes from, where it goes is the greatest mystery of life, right? And where electricity is moving in right angles to its movement, an electromagnetic field is created. So what is the spirit? It is the electricity. And what is the soul? It is the electromagnetic field of that electricity, right? Now, the spirit is what you call, it never changes. Can you see? The spirit is, there's nothing like good spirit or nothing like, it is divine. It is above both good and bad. It has not, right? It is just there. It's just as a presence, the electricity. all the memory patterns come into the soul. All the memory patterns come into the soul, right? Now, how do the memory patterns come in? How do the memory patterns? So be careful, listen, because you're not going to find this in any book. You won't find this, there's no book, and there's no other guru also tells this. It is just because my guru has given it to me, I'm able to share it with you, right? Now, what happens when the child cries? You've left no space. What happens when the child cries?
Activate all the chakras or
No.
the lungs.
What happens? Yeah. The breathing starts. The breathing starts. Now we'll have to explain breathing, so you'll have to keep this middle thing and rub out everything.
I just want to clarify one thing.
Yeah.
So you said soul is electromagnetic field and spirit is the
Electricity.
electricity. So without electricity, how like soul comes before the spirit, right?
Yeah.
So so magnetic field created before the electricity?
No. The, what do you call, the die is created. I'll come to that.
Okay.
Come to that. Come to that. Now we'll explain first the process of breathing, because so many things are happening together. I have to take it compartment wise, so I can't just tell you this is what it is, right? Now, when we breathe, right, what is going in? Draw a nose over here. Right? What is going in? Air and prana. So, no. One minute. Yeah. You just draw something like this. Nose, air plus prana. Okay? Right. I'll leave that. Right. I'll just coming to that only. Right? What goes in? Air plus prana. Science is only concerned with air. It has nothing to do with prana. No prana can be analyzed in a laboratory or something. Right? Now, the air goes in the lungs. The air goes in the lungs. But the air goes in from here, but at this point there is two nadis. One is called as Pingla, one is called as Ida. Right? So the air and prana separate over here. The air and prana separate over here. The air goes in the lungs and prana goes into the nadi. I don't know if you're getting what I'm trying to say. Right? So prana goes into the nadi. The prana does not go into the lungs.
What is prana?
Huh? Okay.
Yeah.
Right. So we started that there are different theories of the beginning of the universe. Right? So what we are going through is the theory of mantra. There is also the theory of prana. And both are complementary. Both are complementary. Right? So, in the beginning, there was nothing. Right? That nothing we call is the mind of God or the universal mind. And that universal mind to create the universe, that is, Shakti is the universal mind, Shiva and Shakti, right? So here we said Shakti divided herself into 51 parts, which are the letters of the Sanskrit alphabet. Now we are saying Shakti divided herself into two parts. Two parts. One is Prana and the other is called as Rai. I didn't want to bring this because it would be little complicated, but I'll just explain it. Rai is all structures. Rai is all structures. So the galaxy is a structure. The smallest cell in existence, if we call it the amoeba, is also a structure. And all structures, they need petrol to function. Right? A car needs a certain petrol. My brain needs a certain petrol. My heart needs a certain petrol for my emotions to function. Right? So, in the universe, all the petrols are called as Prana and all the structures are called as Rai. Rai. Right? So, in the universe, there are two things. There is structure and there is petrol. Right? So, a structure could be a huge galaxy also. That also has its own petrol. That has its source of petrol, right? And the structure could be just a thought in my mind, and that also has its own petrol. And petrol is like a refinery. It is at different levels. At the lower level is crude. At the higher level is aeroplane fuel or whatever you want to call it. So the petrol of going into thought will be more grosser than the petrol going into emotions. And the petrol going into sex will be more subtle than that going into even emotion. Can you understand? So, right? But all petrol is Prana. All petrol is Prana. Right? This is an easy way of explaining it. Huh? Easy way of explaining it. Yeah, please.
Like I just have one question. When child is born, that time the parasympathetic and sympathetic actum is activated, right? So like at 7th month or before that, a child doesn't have those 5 sensory perceptions. Like
It has.
Okay.
It has. Everything is ready.
Okay.
At the 7th month, everything is ready.
Just it's not activated.
Where's the electricity?
Okay.
Yeah, but there's still some sensitivity because the mother can at the 7th month feel some movement. But the petrol for that movement is coming from the mother.
Like sensory smell sense, and we nowadays like what scientists are discovering, it's another like way. I don't want to mistrack the communication. Like children in mother's womb, they can recognize the smell and they can recognize the
Exactly,
taste.
but what is allowing them to recognize the smell? That is
Okay, so
the
mothers.
energy to recognize the smell is coming from the
Okay,
mother.
so it's not their own. The child.
Yeah, he's not yet breathing.
Okay, so it happens
See,
when.
there are three forms of energy.
Okay.
One is the food we eat, one is the air we breathe, and one is the impression which comes in of that sweet box. Can you understand? Right? We'll go into that some other time. Today we don't have time for all that, right? So, yeah, please, yeah.
So when we see those premature kids when they're born, they don't cry. Definitely,
Yeah.
we have to resuscitate them to cry, and they are. So there is no soul at the time, or what is happening at that time when they are premature, less than 7 months.
The memory patterns have not been activated. So you'll see those premature children, they live in the present moment only. And premature children is a very different science altogether. Okay. I don't want to bring it into this, right? It is a totally different science, right? And only a person who has risen in consciousness can recognize why he is premature, right? So it's a totally different. We won't bring it up over here. Many times they have consciously decided to come as premature children. Can you understand? Because they have committed something in their previous life for which they want to take a punishment. Right? We want to heal them, they don't want to be healed. Can you understand what I'm trying to say? Right? They want to go through that punishment. Can you understand what I'm trying to say? So I don't want to go into the subject of premature children. It's a very fascinating subject, but it's something which doesn't, not a part of what we are do today, right? What you as a pediatrician can do is you can look into the eyes.
I have personal experience with NICU babies. I had 600-gram baby in my hand. I took care of that baby for 3 to 6 months. So I can tell you that, like, it's not a topic here, but it's a really amazing feeling.
Yes.
So some
Sometimes
other
they are
time.
at a very high state of consciousness, and you can take that consciousness from their eyes, right? So their eyes tell you everything, right? And sometimes they will sarcastically give you a smile back, telling you that you're a fool, I know everything.
That's my experience. I would like to talk about this, maybe separate,
Yeah,
definitely.
Can you see, because they are at a very high state of consciousness,
Yes.
right? And they are saying that, why are you trying to cure me? I don't want to be cured.
Yes. Yes.
Right? So it's a different subject.
Sure.
We won't take it here.
Sure.
Yeah?
Note.
And I'll just give you one example because it may help you. I know we don't have so much time, but I'll just give you one example. That, see, these children don't want to be cured. And my guru, he used to make medicine. So there was one builder of Bombay, a very rich builder, and his son was mentally retarded. So he would bring him, and my guru would talk to him for half an hour, to that boy, right? And without any verbal communication, they would be talking to each other, right? And he's telling the father that you cannot cure him, but I will give him medicine, so there'll be some normal activity. He will be in a much better state than he is. Can you get what I'm saying? He says it'll take at least a year and a half of, treating him with medicine. Now, the father, being a very rich father, he heard of some treatment where, in those days I'm talking about, it was called a lobotomy. I don't know, right? They do in the brain, and somebody told him that the child will be cured by this lobotomy. But that was a new thing in those days, right? And there were few surgeons in the world who were performing that thing at that time. And so he, invited one of those surgeons. He could afford it. And in Jaslok Hospital, they were going to do the operation. And I used to work in the stock market. And the stock market used to run from 12 to 2. And 2 o'clock I would go to his home. And I would be there till 5 o'clock. So this time I went and he's sitting like this. So I said, what's the matter? What's wrong? So he said that boy's operation is going on. And that boy doesn't want to be cured. So he's going to die, consciously die in the operation. And he says, was 5 more minutes and he's going to die. So he's sitting like this and he says, now he's gone. He says, the father should not have done this. Now that boy will again come back as a mentally retarded child to finish his punishment. You see, they don't want to be cured. They want to go through that punishment. Right? But science sees only one side of it. Science cannot see the other side of this. Right? And that is why when you are working with these children, you should look into their eyes and try to communicate with them. Right? Do you want to be cured? Ask him. You don't have to say it in words, but the minute you bring it up, he'll understand what you're saying and he'll give you a reply also. Right? Where were we?
Division of air and prana.
Prana, the division of air and prana. So air goes into the lungs, right? Prana goes into this nadi. So the nadi wraps around the backbone. The nadi wraps around the backbone and comes down to this area which we call the perineum, right? And it filters the prana into the perineum. From the perineum, the subtle body breathes in, right? Now, in the physical body, breathing in and breathing out are two separate actions. Can you see there's an inspiration and there's an expiration. In the subtle body, that is in the manas, right? Breathing in and breathing out are the same action. Can you get it? So between Mooladhara and Swadhisthana, there is a figure of 8. So we see these first two chakras. Now these chakras are at a 45-degree angle. 45-degree angle, right? So if you'll see the figure of 8, the stale old prana comes out and the new prana goes in, and one comes on this side and one goes in from this side. If you see the figure of 8, draw the figure of 8, right? Can you see how it goes? So one comes out and one goes in, right? So the subtle body is breathing in and breathing out at the same time. Now that prana which it has taken out is in the, where is it? In the perineum. In the perineum. And from the perineum it goes back into the nadi. And from the nadi it comes up here into the nostril. Here we are breathing out, which is a separate action, right? We are breathing out and it, mixes with the air and goes out. Have you understood this? Now, if you see this properly, you will see that when the subtle body is one breath behind the physical body. Can you see? Because that prana which went in and went into the subtle body, but the prana which is coming out with my breath was of the previous breath. I don't know if you got it as yet. Okay, I'll try to make it clear. Right? I breathe in, what goes in? Prana plus air. The prana goes to the perineum, right? And from the perineum, the subtle body is breathing in. Their breathing in and breathing out is same. So it is taking in the new prana and giving the old prana back to the perineum. That old prana was of the previous breath. Can you see? Right? Now that old prana goes into the nadi. Previously the new prana had come in the nadi now, and by that we have taken the breath in the lungs and we are breathing out, and it mixes with the air which we are breathing out and we breathe out. Now is it clear?
So that's why it's behind.
It's one breath behind. One breath behind. Right? Okay. Now, so what happens at the moment of death? What happens at the moment of death?
There's one prana left.
We are one prana less. Can you see one prana has remained? So all the sanskars, all the memory patterns, it is like a pen drive of a computer. Can you get it? You get those, pen drives in the computer, you put all the memory inside, right? And that travels across in time. That prana travels across in time, right? And when the child breathes out, because first the child breathes in and then the child breathes out, that prana goes out. By then it has given all the memory patterns to the electromagnetic field. Now Just as the divine coming in was a form of electricity, prana is also a form of electricity. Can you get it? It is a form of electricity. Now what is happening over here?
Now I get the answer for my previous question.
In that you have to talk in the box.
Here. This one.
Yeah, I think now I get the answer for my previous question, that how electric magnetic field came first without the spirit.
Right.
It's because prana is there and which is carry
It
forward.
is now, the field was like water and now the patterns are in water.
Yeah, yeah.
The water is not the pure water
Yeah.
of the spirit. It is the pure water of the spirit plus the patterns.
Yeah.
Plus the patterns. Okay, now is it clear?
Yeah.
And I'll explain this later on in a different way also, so it will make it more clear to you. Right? Okay. Now, what I want to explain over here, I don't know. How is your physics? Now, this is the chakra. This is we have talked of only 5 chakras. We have talked of only 5 chakras, right? Now, this is the chakra. Now, we see that we are breathing in and the prana is going into the, what do you call, nadi. And that prana is electricity. Can you get it? So, this nadi is going round the chakra, coming back into the backbone, going round the chakra, coming back into the backbone. Can you get it? The nadi. Now, the electromagnetic field of the current is always at a right angle to the current. Okay, I don't know, you remember your physics or not, I don't know, right? So, if the current is traveling in this direction, this is the electromagnetic field, right? Now the current has changed into this direction, so this is the electromagnetic field. Now again it is going in this direction, this is the electromagnetic field. You understand what is happening? Right. So because it is changing direction all the time, one direction it rotates the chakra in half the amount, and the minute it changes direction it rotates the chakra in this thing. So the minute we start breathing, right, the prana which is going through the chakras, right, it gives rotation to the chakras. Till then they were vibrating. Yeah, the 4, say in the Mooladhara 4 letters, in the Swadhisthana 2 letters, those letters were vibrating at a certain frequency. Now they are not just vibrating, the whole field is rotating. The whole field is rotating, and that is why they are given the name chakras. Can you understand? Is it clear? Right? Now we'll go a little deeper into this, right? Till it's clear. Now, each chakra, it's a very fascinating thing, so I can't go into everything today. It is not possible. I don't know what the time is also, right? Already we are 1 hour over. So, I'll just talk about some aspects to give you some idea of what is happening over here. Now, we said they are part of the Manas system, right? And in Theosophy, this Manas system is called as the etheric body. Now, we saw that when my attention fell upon you, or on that sweet box, right? My attention fell upon you. You are broken down into electromagnetic impulses, right? Which the Shastras call as tanmatra. So those electromagnetic impulses, the manas is bringing through the 5 senses, and it is recreating your image on the screen of the inner chitta, and I am relating to you. Can you understand? What am I relating to? You, not to you, but to that image which is created on the chitta. You're clear on this, right? Now these tanmatras which are coming in, these electromagnetic impulses which are coming, are of 5 types. Are of 5 types, right? And that is the 5 elements: Prithvi, earth, water or apas, fire or what do you call Agni, Vayu, that is wind element, and the sky element or ether or Akash. Can you get it? So, whatever we are looking at in life, whatever we are, whether I am looking at you, I am looking at a tree, I am looking at a deer, whatever I am looking at a telephone, right, is composed of 5 elements. And the subtle form of those elements is the tanmatras, which are electromagnetic impulses which give the what you call effect of the elements. Now, they are not actually elements also, but they are, just now we'll take them as elements. Later on, when we go deeper into this, we'll see that they are forms of motion. They are forms of motion, right? Now, each of these formations which the universal energy, Shakti, took, right, they attract a certain element. So we'll say the earth element is in Mooladhara, the water element is in Swadhisthana, the fire element is in Manipura, the wind element is in Anahata, and what do you call the sky element is in Vishuddhi. Just to, right? And this is because of the vibrations of those letters that these elements make, these become the seat of those elements. Till, I hope you're okay till now, huh? You can still concentrate. Yeah? It was what I'm giving to, what I have learnt in years and years with my guru, I'm giving it to you, on a platter, just like that. Huh? Earth. Earth. Water. Fire. Wind. Sky or ether, right? Okay. Those, so they are coming in. Now, what is the basic, what do you call, duty of the chakra? What is the basic function of the chakra? So, you are sitting on the chair. So, I say the chair is giving you support. So, I am looking at you, I am seeing you and the chair. So, I am saying the chair is giving you support. If the chair was not giving support, you would fall to the ground. So, the chair is which element? Earth element. Can you understand? But you are listening to me. You are listening to me. And you are listening with your ears. Right? So, I can see that you are listening to me. And you are listening with the ears. So, the listening is which element? Sky. Can you understand? Right? At the same time, you are decoding what I say inside. So, your brain is decoding what I am saying inside. That decoding is which element? The fire element. Can you understand? Right? You are getting attracted to it or you are getting repulsed to it. That is the wind element. And all this is working together. Right? But how am I to know? How am I to know? So, when your tanmatras are coming and they are of 5 kinds. So, the tanmatras of Prithvi will be decoded by Mooladhara chakra. The tanmatras of what you call water will be decoded by Swadhisthana chakra. The tanmatras of the fire element will be decoded by, and after all this decoding, there will be a presentation by the manas to the inner ego, right? All this is the scene which you are seeing. The ego can't grasp everything which has gone through the laboratory, but it will grasp something. She's sitting on a chair, whether she's smiling or not smiling, or she's happy or not. Can you get what I'm trying to say? And this is a combination of all the elements which this thing, right? So the 5 lower chakras are brains which every moment they are decoding the impressions which are coming out from the outside, and they are analyzing everything like a laboratory and putting it in front of the inner ego every moment, and that is their main function, right? Thank you. Now there are a lot of powers in each of the chakras, and they can be awakened in different ways, but that is not our subject today. We'll take it some other time, right? And how they can be awakened. And now each chakra has a certain Shakti, right? Now it's very difficult to, but we'll just take one, say Muladhara. So the Shakti of Muladhara chakra is called as Dakini. Dakini, D-A-K-I-N-A, D-A-K-I-N-A. And the meaning of the word Dakini is to fly in the sky. To fly in the sky. Now try to understand this. Yesterday we talked about the 7 levels on our spiritual path, right? And we said we rise to a certain level, then again that lower level pulls us back. Pulls us back, right? So the earth element is lying in Muladhara. I'm not going to take the other chakras, I'll just take one only, just to give you an outline. Now, what is the property of the earth element? What is the property of the earth element? The basic property. No, that is secondary. All that is secondary. The basic, what are the 4 forces which science, recognizes? Gravity, weak force, strong force, and electromagnetism. So what lies in Muladhara chakra? Gravity. Gravity. So gravity is the byproduct of the presence of earth element. Gravity is the byproduct of the presence of earth element. So every time you try to rise, the gravity will pull you down. Can you understand? So if you can activate the Shakti of the Muladhara chakra, right, which means to fly in the sky, right? So once you are free of gravity, you can hold yourself free of gravity. Can you understand? Right? So now the gravity is what? The gravity is what? It is negative emotions. Negative emotions. So I have risen a little, but today I get very angry upon her. Gravity pulls me down again. Again I have to start climbing up. Can you see? So now, supposing gravity was to become psychological, which negative emotion would it be? Which negative emotion would it be? Gravity is a natural force in life. But if it was to become a psychological force, what would you call it? What would you call it? Pulling everything back to me.
Greed.
Pulling everything back to me.
Self-blame. Self-pity.
In the Mahabharata, Duryodhan says, I will not even give 1 inch of land. Forget 5 villages. I will not give even 1 pinpoint of land. I will not give. Greed. Greed. Can you see? So the psychological effect of gravity is greed. I don't know if you're getting it. You're getting it? Right. So, which is the, what do you call, negative emotion most prevalent in Mooladhara Chakra? Greed. Great. Then the next element is water. So, which will be the most prevalent weakness of water? Desire. Right? Desire. Right? Third one is what do you call Manipur Chakra? Fire. The most prevalent negative? Krodh, anger. Right? This thing is where you get hypnotized, moha. Right? And in the fifth, here will be jealousy or matsa. And in all the 5 lower chakras is self-love or mother. So these are the 5 weaknesses which are common to all men. And where do they lie? In the chakras. So as we activate each chakra, we are freeing ourselves from the negative side, and there are many positive sides. I'm not going into them today, right? I'm not going into the others. I'm just telling you about Mooladhara. You understand what I'm trying to say? So as we work with each chakra, we are free of the weaknesses of that chakra, and we activate the higher qualities of that chakra. All this will begin with pause. All this will begin with pause. What is pause? See, the nervous system has 2 kinds of impulses. One which come from out to in, they are called as afferent impulses. This you must have studied, right? And those which go from in to out are called the efferent impulses, right? So, I see this in a store, greed comes into me. When greed comes in, the Mooladhara is not working in rhythm and balance, and that is why it's expressing its what you call weakness of greed. You understand it, right? I say I want to own this, and at that moment I pause. I pause, right? In that pause, I'm trying to bring the Mooladhara back into rhythm and balance, right? I'm trying to bring understanding that why do I want to own everything, right? So what is that pause? It is a newly created efferent impulse. Can you see? It is a newly created efferent impulse. So all the Shaktis of the chakras are newly created efferent impulse, which create their own afferent impulse, which gives a rise to consciousness. Can you get what I'm trying to say? But that again is a different science. We'll go into that also. But I'm just giving you a sort of narrow picture of the whole thing. So each chakra is a brain. It is every moment decoding life around us, right? And presenting that life to the inner, this thing. And what do you call, each chakra has many other properties. Some are negative, which we have to overcome, and some are positive, which we have to awaken, right? And each chakra can be nourished by those last 3 coils which are lying, which we said, those last, and that is nourishing the chakra by the Kundalini energy, right? So this is a whole science of chakras. I just wanted to give you a kind of overview of it. But to really go deep into this, we have to be together for 8-10 days, and each day we take one chakra and go into the depth of each of these chakras. Now, if there are any questions, I'll take those questions, right?
What is the meaning of Matsya?
Jealousy. Matsya, jealousy. jealousy. I'll tell you a small story over here. These tanmatras are of two kinds. There is the universal tanmatra and the specific tanmatra. The experience comes through the specific tanmatra. The image is built by the universal tanmatra. So, what is the meaning of a universal tanmatra? Is that my attention falls upon you. You are broken down into electromagnetic impulses. Say you are broken down into 10,000 electromagnetic impulses. But to create your image in the mind, I don't need all 10,000. I may need only 500 or 1,000. And that is why it is called as tanmatra, minimum measure. Minimum measure. So, the manas uses those 500 or 1,000 to create your image. Right? But where does the sensitivity of you lie? This is, can you see, it is a universal tanmatra. It is all 5 together. So, it is an atom which has 5 different kinds of particles in it. Can you see? But there is a particular tanmatra or a specific tanmatra. And that gives you the experience. So, the experience is not coming from outside. The specific tanmatra is in the chakra, which is giving you the experience. So, I feel that you are sitting on this thing, what you call chair, and getting support, but at the same time I am experiencing support from inside. Can you understand what I'm? Who is giving me that experience of support inside? So that is the particular tanmatra. The particular tanmatra. Right? And it is these particular tanmatras which give the experience. The experience does not come from the universal. I'll give you another example. Now I'm telling you all this in 5-10 minutes, right? I was asking my guru, you explain this particular tanmatra to me, I don't understand it. And he would say, what did you do in the stock market today? And it will still go up for 5 days, and why are you doing this and that? And he never gave me a proper answer. And if I asked him, why are you doing this? He said, my only effort is to confuse you more, right? So, then he was, in those days, he was teaching me how to work with my dreams. So he's saying, now you're working with dreams, you ask the question in the dream. And it so happened, he used to induce dreams. He had this knack of inducing a dream. And next morning I'm in the dream. In the dream there's a waterfall. Can you understand? The waterfall, somebody in the dream is asking me, is the waterfall real? So I said, it's not real, I'm in a dream and it's a dream waterfall, it cannot be real. So then that voice is saying that, okay, you put your hand inside. So I put your hand. Is the feeling of wet be real or is it, what do you call, false? So I said, the feeling of being wet is real. My hand is wet. So he says, the waterfall is false, but the feeling of being wet is real. That is specific tanmatra. You see, this is how I've understood things in life, right? Can you get it? So you go, you put your foot in water, you think the water is giving you the feeling of being wet, but the water is coming in as a universal tanmatra. In the chakra is the specific tanmatra which activates the feeling of being wet. Can you get what I'm trying to say? Two different things. Two different things. Can you? I mean, when you go into the Indian Shastras, they have gone so deep, we cannot imagine the depth. I'm just giving you a small glimpse of it, a very, very small glimpse of it. Yeah, right. Yeah, please go ahead.
It's good to know what you just said because currently I think there are lots of videos that are going on regarding, I think the term called quantum mechanics or something, where they are saying exactly the same thing, like how everything is a perception of atoms. It's not real, like the image is not real, it's just a perception of like atomic and subatomic particles, because ultimately even humans are made up of energies, right? If you we see everything is energy, so this is exactly but it's already given in our shastras, so I think it's really interesting, like that, to know about this.
Yeah,
Yeah,
yeah.
so thank you.
Okay.
I have one question.
Yeah, yeah.
So the confusion was like Disha and I was discussing. So energy.
I'm so glad you discussed it.
Actually, she was discussing and telling me. I was listening because she didn't find anybody, so I was just sitting there. So
You were letting the experience happen.
yeah. So E is equal to mc square. So energy is equal to matter and the light of speed square. And she is mentioning the energy is we call energy as a Shakti, means like is it a female part, like the way we explain Shiva and Shakti.
Yeah.
So as per her understanding, she's telling me, and I agree with her too. Like she's saying, energy is Shiva, and Shakti, the female part is matter, which is keep changing. So what is constant and what is changing thing? So can you please give?
Yeah, can I finish this?
Yes. Yeah. Okay.
So the energy part is not Shiva. Shiva is not an energy. Right? Shiva is a vibration. She provides the matter to the vibration, and when vibration and matter mix, it becomes energy.
This is new science coming in.
Huh?
New science is coming in.
Right. So Shiva is that which looks at energy. That which witnesses energy. That which witnesses the play of energy. Right? Right? So, in a way, he is mixed with Shakti to that sense that it is the seeing energy. But it is not the seeing energy, it is the capacity to see. The energy is provided by Shakti. Can you get it?
So it's still, I'm digesting. It's not able to get
Don't
it.
worry, I didn't expect also. Right? Can you understand? It's okay. He has been with me since he was a kid, you know.
We can say that like Shiva is vibration. So like all the vibrations at Muladhar or all these are the same vibrations? Like everything which is vibrating like honeybees, they vibrate only. So
But they are vibrating plus matter.
okay. Okay.
They are vibrating in Akash Tattva. So there is vibration plus matter. Vibration plus matter is energy.
So only vibration is Shiva.
Only vibration is Shiva.
So we don't know where is it.
Yeah, you don't know. Because I'll tell you why. I'll tell you why. Now, we are clear on this. I won't go deeper into this subject today. Maybe there's one more thing which I would like to add, but just let's see. See, something which we have not taken over here, is that impression which is coming in is not composed of only 5 elements. Just to give you it, make it easy for you, I said 5 elements. It is also composed of 3 forces, right? The 3 gunas, what they call in Sanskrit, in our this thing. So it is 5 elements plus 3 gunas. And the elements are decoded till here, till the Vishuddhi chakra. But the gunas are decoded in the higher chakras. But I have not taken that. I didn't want to make it complicated. But because she has now asked, we'll just talk about the gunas a little. See, when in the beginning Shakti was in a state of rhythm and balance. Rhythm and balance. And as long as she was in a state of rhythm and balance, no creation could be done. All creation is an imbalance of Shakti. So I want to make the tree, then I have to put Shakti into a ratio of Tamas, Rajas and Sattva to create the tree. So wherever there is a creation, there is a ratio of 3 forces. Can you understand? Whether it is from the most subtle thought or feeling, right to the big mountain, all creation is a what you call triad or a meeting of 3 forces. Something active, something passive, something neutralizing. Right? So in the beginning, Shakti was in a state of rhythm and balance. No creation. This balance had to be broken. So Shiva created Shakti, right? But Shakti was in a state of rhythm and balance. But there was the desire of Shiva to create in Shakti. Can you get it? Shakti was the medium of Shiva to create, to fulfill his desire to create. Can you see? So that desire was lying in Shakti. So from Shakti, the first force came out and says, I want to create. I want to create. Right? That force we call as Rajas, the active force. We call it as Rajas, the active force. But I want to create what to create with. We need some matter to create with. Right? Some matter to create with. So another force came out of Shakti, I am matter. That is called as Tamas, the passive force. Says, you want to create, I am willing to become the material to create. Now at all levels, this material will be very subtle to very gross, whatever, right? Then you needed a third force which will decide how much of what in which ratio. Right? You want to build a house. So which force is that? Active force, the Rajas. The brick you are building with is the passive force, the material. But how to arrange the bricks, how many bricks are, then you need an intelligence between the two, and that was Sattva, the neutralizing force, which balanced both of them together. So in life, everything that is created out of 3 forces and the 5 elements, right? And it is that neutralizing force of Sattva which is the intelligence in that creation, which gives it that form, which gives it that function, which whatever gives it that relativity in life. Can you understand what I'm trying to say? Right? So Shakti, she divided herself again into, we said first into 2 parts, petrol and structure, but actually she divided herself into 3 parts. The intelligence of how much petrol into how much structure. Can you understand? Active, passive, neutralizing. Right? So Shakti provides the, what do you call, the matter for the vibration of Shiva, and energy is formed. This whole universe is a creation of energy. Creation of energy. Right? But that energy is in the ratio of the 3 forces, and that energy has the material of the 5 elements. You get it? This is right. So Shiva is pure vibration, right? But pure vibration to express itself needs a little bit of matter. And that is why even the Atma which comes in as electricity, it is 99.9% Atma, but still a little bit of matter is needed to express itself as electricity, right? It cannot come. It's just pure electricity, to be pure Atma, pure spirit,
Thank you. Thanks a lot.
right? All this is metaphysics, right? There are 6 darshans in India, and this is all a part of the 6 darshans, you know. So all Rai is tamas. All Rai is tamas. All active part, yeah, active part. Right? And you need the intelligence, right? Because I remember just now recently in somebody's, what do you call, petrol car, somebody filled in diesel, the wrong intelligence, right? The wrong intelligence. Then the whole machine had to be cleaned again. Maybe you can do it.
No, he's laughing because I did it.
Right. Okay. But he still has a lot of questions. Okay. You want to ask him? Yeah. Huh?
Very long. But we can take online.
Okay, we'll take. You're coming in the evening? Yeah, okay. Cool.
So I just want to know, like yesterday you were saying we'll go through one mantra that,
Thank you.
yeah.
Thank you. See, I'm growing old. I told you I'm growing old. It's time for me to retire.
So,
right?
yeah.
So we'll do the Swadhisthana Chakra mantra. Sharp, huh? She is. Right? And we don't want to do them. See, these are not actually mantras of the chakras. They are the mantras of the element in the chakras. Right? So in Mooladhara, if the earth element, then the mantra is Lam, but it's not pronounced as Lam. Right? And in Swadhisthana is the, what you call, water element, the mantra is Vam, but it's not pronounced as Vam. But the safest mantra to do is that of the Swadhisthana Chakra. Right? And it's a beautiful mantra because it brings so much of happiness in life, so much of joy in life, and it increases our capacity to enjoy life. Increases our capacity to derive more pleasure from life, right? So the mantra is VAM, VAM, but it is pronounced in this way. I'll just show you. It's not pronounced as VAM, it is pronounced more like VOOM, VOOM. And we have to say it with our lips round, as if we are blowing air into a bottle or into a straw or a balloon or something, right? Now, we'll say it in a certain way. So in 3 seconds we will breathe in, 2, 3. Then in 10 seconds we will say VOOM, breathing out. So it will go like this. And then for 5 seconds we will pause, holding the breath out, not breathing in. Can you get it? Right? So I'll just show you first. So I'll take a breath in 3 seconds. 3. 10 seconds. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Again, breathe in 3. Again, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Let's do it together. Okay, there's no loving khaigyo.
So how many seconds you have to hold?
5 seconds. Just a minute, yes, yeah, sorry. I'm very sorry. So we start. Breathe in 3. 1. Pause. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Breathe in. 5. Breathe in. Pause. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Right? Do it for 20 minutes every day. 20 minutes every day. Continuously. Very good mantra. Very, very good. There will be a lot of health benefits also, and it's very, very powerful.
When you pause, you breathe or just
Pause. No, I'm telling you to breathe in 3 seconds. So pause for 5 seconds. No, no breathing. No breathing. Write it down. No, no breathing. Huh? Okay, we'll do it with that. So she's right, you know. If you go into the app, there is this, what do you call, TikTok. It's in my phone also. Yeah, but we can still use it. We can still use it. Dave?
So it's just for Muladhara, right?
Swadhisthha. We don't do any other chakra sound. They're all dangerous. So we don't involve ourselves in those. That has to be done under the guidance of what I call teacher. There are a lot of, they can be used for black magic and all that. We don't want to go into that. I just show you this. So this is there, you can take it, she'll send it to everyone. Yeah. You have it, no? So you just go this way. 1, 3, woo. One, yeah, you got it? So you can use this. Right. Any other questions? No?
Anybody has questions?
Same thing, that's what I said. As if we are blowing in, woo, as if we are blowing into a balloon.
I can ask if anybody wants to ask first.
I'll just, can you rub out? Yeah, okay.
I just have a question regarding my experience, but it's not important.
No, please go ahead, yeah.
So, okay. So, one day I was doing meditation, and I was, first time in my life, I've experienced the energy from my backbone, from bottom to up here. It was rotating, and it was very, very fast, like a tornado. So, but I don't know why it happened and how it happened. Is it a right, is it a wrong thing? I don't know, any idea. But if you...
It's very good.
Okay.
So don't worry about it. And
Just curious.
It will happen again.
Okay.
It will happen again. But don't want it to happen again. Let it come on its own.
Okay.
It'll come on its own.
But is it cleansing something or...
It is getting rid of blockages.
Okay.
It is getting rid of blockages. Shakti is separated from Shiva, but Shakti wants to go back to Shiva. Shiva is here, right? So she will go. Yeah, online, yes.
Question 1 is how thought and emotions affect our food while eating. Can you please explain in a deeply?
See, we are impressing the food with our thought and emotions. Right? So I'm eating my food with the thought of taking revenge upon somebody. Right? So I'm impressing that thought upon the food which is going in. And that is going to provide nourishment to that pattern of taking revenge. Right? I cannot explain this very deep. I can just give a one-line answer. Right? So the idea is that when we are eating the food, to enjoy the food and be thankful for the food, but bring in the deeper sensitivities of the food and not to allow negative thoughts to come in. We can make some rules about food. Is that when we are when we are eating one morsel in the mouth, don't fill the spoon again. Wait for that to go down and then, right? So that very action will bring in consciousness, right? So we've already put one in the mouth and the second one is ready, not like that. Just wait till one has gone down and then fill in the second one. That very practice of that will bring in consciousness while eating food. And if there's consciousness, then you're observing your thoughts.
Rajen sir, why is element like ADHD, anxiety issues and depression getting more and more frequent in a teenager and youngsters? And how can we educate our child to be free of them?
It's a totally different question and not related to the subject, right? There's so much of excitement in today's world. You know, in our days, when we were young, we would get to see one movie a week. Now I can see 7 movies in a day if I want to, right? So we are so much bombarded with information, bombarded with impressions, bombarded with choices. And when there are so many choices, there's always the fear of making the wrong choice and all that. So, I mean, no school actually trains us how to live in this world. They just keep on bombarding us with information, right? And so this is going to come. So, most important is the child should be taught 3-step rhythmic breathing from 7 years of age, and then everything else will take care of itself. And even now, if they have ADHD, then start putting them on 3-step rhythmic breathing. This is the most important thing. Right?
There is a 3 question from same guy, but all 3 questions are similar. So I'm just asking the last one. Sir, if we are in a grave danger, is there any way to get help as in any technique?
But what kind of danger?
Before that, there is a question that, Namaste sir, can we get advanced sense of danger in any way by practice?
See, if we, work on the energy of sensitivity, then we will get some inclination of danger. But if we worry about danger, then we will never get any inclination about danger. So I think he's asking the wrong question. The question should be how to develop our energy of sensitivity. Because if you're worrying about danger, you can't live life, right? So, and there is really no danger in today's life. I mean, when you compare it to man 1,000 years ago, there's no real danger in today's life in that sense, right? So, rather than worry about danger, to tell him to develop his level of consciousness and to what you call develop your sensitivity. You will sense danger before it comes. Or even if danger comes, the sensitivity itself will tell you what to do in that situation of danger.
Same guy is asking that danger is a physical, somebody wants to damage.
Now he's asking something. So, when you wake up in the morning, especially when you're in that half sleep state, don't wake up, don't allow the thinking to happen. Visualize that person, right? And concentrate on his third eye and pass on whatever thoughts you want, right? And then wake up in the bed, take your hands and go round your body like this. Go round this way also. Clap your hand, right? Hold his picture and say, whatever he does, he will not be able to penetrate this shield which I have built around me, right? And any method he tries, it will go back and it will work on the person who sends that this thing. If he just does this much, it is more than enough. Huh?
So, I have a question now. So, danger for not us, but if you want to protect someone, is there the same way? So, if I want to protect someone, heal someone. Like some I know somebody is bombarding the other person. I know that fact, right? And then I don't want to tell anything, but I want to pray for that guy or girl. So, like my feeling, I don't know.
We are entering into something else.
Yeah,
I know. Because if I start opening out, everything I say can have a negative part also. Can you understand what I'm saying? Supposing I tell him that you can pass on a thought in this way on through a photograph also, but you can also pass on harm to somebody through a photograph.
No.
I don't want to enter into all this.
Okay.
What I'll just give you as such, that somebody is ill.
Yeah.
Somebody is ill. And you want to help that person, right? And yesterday we learned the Omkar at home.
Yeah.
The Omkar has 3 sounds: A, A, Ma, right? A is for the physical universe, U is for the astral universe, and Ma is for the electronic universe, mental universe, right? So when you say the Omkar, you expand the U sound, sense that person as if you are that person and you are getting well with this sound, right? So you will go, supposing ah, that is Akar, but you want to expand the Ukar, right? So you go ah, and those vibrations are very healing vibrations, right? So you can visualize that person also, but more than visualize, sense his presence, right? And in that presence, you are living that presence and you are healing yourself. And he'll be healed wherever he is. Right? Now the only thing is, you cannot say, I did this for you.
Yeah. So
If that person in the morning, you get news he's feeling better, then don't tell anybody what you did. Otherwise it will not work the next time. Then the ego will come in. right? I did it, right? So you have to do it in the silence of your heart. But I would prefer you do Omkar for 1 year before doing all these kind of experiments. Then I can teach you many experiments with Omkar, right? But first I will say that you do it for 1 year, and then I'll teach you how to go deeper into Omkar. Right. But you can use the Okar to heal people. It's very, very powerful. Very powerful. Okay. No. Nothing else? Huh? No one? Nothing online, no?
Actually, same guy was asking something more.
Can you rub out? Oh, you rubbed out everything. Yeah. Okay. Just from a different dimension, because we have 8 minutes more. From a different dimension. What is the difference between soul and spirit? What is the difference between soul and spirit? So spirit is like a sun. So you can know the sun. And the sun sends out its ray. Right? It tells the ray you experience life and bring the experience back into me. So when the ray goes back into the sun has experienced everything which the ray has gone through. Can you understand? The sun is the spirit, right? The ray is the soul. Now, when the ray leaves the sun, right? And the same ray which we call as soul, the light of the sun, it flows out through the 5 senses as attention. So what is attention? It is the light of the spirit in its, what do you call, desire to experience. So wherever attention goes in life, I experience. Clear? That attention is soul. That attention is soul. Will is the power to control attention. So when we throw attention back on the soul rises in consciousness and it can go back into the spirit. So the ray of light which comes out of the spirit is called as soul, but it is not yet soul. Now once it is separate from spirit, it forgets that it was in spirit. Only when it rises in consciousness will it know that it was actually spirit. It forgets because there's a big drop in vibrations. There's a very big drop in vibrations. Now, because it has come to experience, it is given something called an astral body. It is given something called an astral body, which does not have a form which is visible to the 5 senses. But it still has a subtle form which can be sensed by the mind. Can you understand? Air is not visible to the 5 senses, but it can be sensed by the skin, right? The other senses is not visible, right? So, but the soul is visible at a different level, with a different sense, okay, right? So what is the difference between Atma and Jeev, or Atma and soul, spirit and soul? Spirit is the sun. This is the light of the sun, right? Covered in an astral body. So soul is light plus body. But that is a subtle body, not visible to the 5 senses, right? Now why is it given an astral body? Because it has come to experience. Can you see? I put my foot in water. I don't feel wet because of the water. I feel wet because of the Tanmatra lying in the Swadhisthana Chakra. Can you now understand what I'm trying to say? That gets activated by putting my foot in water. Similarly, all experiences, they lie in the planets. They lie in the planets. So if I'm this moment experiencing anger, then the software to make that anger within me is magnetism of Mars. In this moment I'm experiencing generosity, sharing with people. The software to make that feeling of generosity comes from Jupiter. Can you understand? This moment I am experiencing cunningness, I want to cheat someone, right? The software for that cunningness comes from the negative side of Mercury. So every experience possible to man comes from the planets. And that he sent out his ray to get all experience. And so he is given an astral body. But the experience can only be triggered if he comes into human form and experiences life, right? But the experiences don't come from the outside, they are triggered by the planetary software which is inside, right? And as he gets more and more identified with his experiences, he lowers his level of consciousness. How does he get identified? Because those experiences trap his attention. Can you get it? Supposing I buy a new car. My attention is in the car, attached to the car. I say it is my car, right? If one, student passing by, young boy, he takes a stone and makes a scratch on the car, nothing happens to the car, but it happens to me because my attention is stuck in the car. In Gujarati we say jeev bade. Jeev is attention. When jeev bade, it suffers. Can you see? Now that attention was the property of the soul. It has got stuck in possessiveness, greed. Can you get it? In the pattern of greed it is stuck. Now you have to take it out of the pattern and give it back. And that is a conscious action. And that is all has to be done. Right? And then this soul again goes back into the spirit. But till then, the soul journeys, the spirit never journeys. It is just watching the play as the soul journeys. Life after life, it journeys.
So the practice we are doing, like double arrow attention, we are saying that I is watching, so that I is a spirit,
Soul.
soul.
So, but the act of watching belongs to the spirit.
Okay,
And because the soul is the light of the
spirit.
that act of watching has come from the spirit.
Okay, so every time
To see something, I have to throw light upon
light,
it.
yeah.
I have to throw light upon it.
So we have to constant reminding ourselves that our soul is observing.
You practice 3-step rhythmic breathing, everything else will come on its own.
Okay.
Huh?
Okay.
Right? I want you to practice 3-step rhythmic breathing as much as possible. Right? Rest, let everything else grow on its own. First make your foundation proper. First make your foundation proper. You know, once I made a factory. So I made a little bit of foundation and then I was supposed to take a loan from the loan department. So I called the inspector. The inspector and give me the loan for this. Now in India, all the inspectors are corrupt. Right? So he says, where the foundation, your whole factory is built. I can see the factory working. And I'm wondering, you know, there's nothing built over here, just a few stones are together and I've built a foundation. Hey, the factory is working. I'm giving you the full loan of the whole factory. Can you understand what I'm trying to say? But you have to first build a. So then I went to my guru, Ram Dulare Bapu. Okay, this is what happened. The inspector gave me the full loan. So then Ram Dulare Bapu is saying, in Gujarati he would say, okay, Rajen has no foundation, but he's already built the walls of his factory. Right? He's already built the walls of his factory. So the foundation for spirituality is 3-step rhythmic breathing. Then build the walls of your factory. Right?
One question. So we learn, we come and learn, right? And then we go back and then
Practice.
rebirth, right? So do we lose this learning, or my fear is like, what if I have to start from scratch again? I just learned, I understood maybe a dust a particle kind, But will I lose this if I die today? Will it, propagate again, or we have to start from scratch? बड़ी मुश्किल से यहाँ तक पहुँचे.
એટલે wow. This is our line of time from birth to death. It's our line of time from birth to death, right? What is this line made up of?
Moments.
Present
Moments.
moments. Right? It's made up of present moments. Right? Now, each present moment is cut by another line of time which we can't see. It's cut by another line of time. We call this the cross. Right? Okay, so each present moment is cut by a line of time which we can't see. This line of time we only penetrate through rising in consciousness. We only penetrate in rising in consciousness. Can you understand? So, now this line of time will be connected to another horizontal line of time. It will be connected to another horizontal. Can you get it? Now, just to explain this a little, I'll give it a simple example, is that you say, can you give me this pen? So I may throw it at you, right? So I'm in this vertical line of time, I'm at a very low in my being, I'm at a low dimension. But I say, here, please take it. Then I've risen a little higher. The present moment is the same. Can you see? The present moment is the same. But I have done something consciously, so I've risen a little higher. Can you get it?
Sure.
Right. Now you're moving on this line from birth to death, right? Suppose, I don't know what your age is, but supposing you're over here, right? And you are now practicing consciousness. So each time you practice consciousness, you're rising in vertical time, right? Because to rise in consciousness, first you come into the present moment, and then you feel your self, and this is the line of self. This line of self is not a part of birth and death. Is not a part of birth and death. So at this moment, if you rise in consciousness and you can touch the other line of time, you touch the other line of time, then you fall back and you're again living your ordinary life. Now when you come into your next life and you reach this point over here, there will be something which will come to meet you. You get it?
Sure.
Right? Yes. Okay. So it is not that everything goes.
Okay.
It cannot go.
Okay.
Because you have risen in consciousness. And if you've risen in consciousness, you have penetrated another level of horizontal time. Okay, I'll take this in another way. Can you rub this out here? Now we take time as a wire and consciousness as heat. Consciousness as heat. Now don't draw the line. Draw a circle. Draw a circle. Right. Okay. So time is not a straight line. Time is a circle. I'm born here, I go round and I die here. Again I come into the circle.
Yeah.
Again I'm born, I die. The same circle keeps on repeating. Now, this place I am conscious. This place I am conscious. And consciousness is like
Light.
heat.
Like heat.
So what happens to the wire?
Coils.
The wire, at this point I will feel the heat, but the heat will also travel in the past and in the
Future.
future. Not getting it.
No, I'm getting it.
If I heat a wire over here, this side of the wire is also going to get the heat, this side is also going to get the heat. Can you understand?
Yes.
Right?
Yes.
Huh? Now I come into the same wire. I come into the
Same wire.
Now supposing in this life I have had only one moment of consciousness, which is not true, right? I'm going to have many moments of consciousness.
Hopefully.
The wire has been heated right up to here. So if I met a teaching at 40 years, but this is now 20 years. So now I will meet the teaching at 20 years. Why? Because the wire has been heated. Wire has been heated. Can you understand? It's not just a wire, it is also a cylinder. Right? But I won't go into that today. There's one more time. Because it is a spiral movement. It is not a pure circular movement. It is a spiral movement. So when we apply heat, we are applying heat not along the wire also, but if the heat is even more powerful, we are applying it along the whole core. Whole core. Can you understand? So, this. Say this is the sun, right? And Mercury goes around the sun in 88 days. So we say one cycle of Mercury is 88 days. Minor cycle through one, what do you call this thing? What do you call one Rashi? What do you call one house? Would be about 7 to 8 days, right? So we say take this as the sun. And Mercury is going around, life after life, right? But we provide heat at one place, and the heat goes into the rods. Those lives have not yet come also. But consciousness has already reached there. Consciousness has already reached there. Can you understand? So don't worry about that. Your worry is whether it will come in the next life or not is not the problem. Your worry is to be conscious now in this moment. And don't make it a worry, otherwise you'll never be conscious.
Thank you.
Okay?
I forgot it.
Good, good. Even I've forgotten everything.
Yeah, if you want, you can talk a little bit about dreams. Yeah.
Dreams. What do you want to know about dreams?
I don't know. I just want you to say something.
Do one exercise at least. In the morning, try to remember your last dream before getting out of bed. And write it down immediately. Make a dream journal. Start that. Okay? So say you won't get out of bed before you can recall at least one dream. Then if you recall more, write those down also. Right? Then if you have done some work, then next year we will learn how to go into dreams and work in with our dreams. Or you want to learn now only?
I'm not ready yet.
So at least do this much of homework. So if you do some homework, then I can come from my side.
Now this conversation is directed into another thing, but my basic question is like, I just wanted to know, like, our senses are asleep when we are in sleep, right? Our 5 senses are off. Like smell, sense, all those 5 senses. But sometimes we can experience, like you gave the example of.
We talked about it.
Yes, you gave the example of water touching
Yeah,
it.
so that is the experience is coming through the chakra. It is not coming through the senses.
Okay, so what we sense in dream is coming through chakra.
They come through the chakras. There are two parts to our senses. There is a subtle part which lies in the chakras, and there is an external sense through which we hear, see, and all that. So there is a subtle part of that, and that is awake in the dream. And it is that which gives us the experience. Right? No, you're not getting it again.
So now more question arises.
Oh. Yeah, go ahead.
So it's coming from chakra. So is there any...
From the inner sense. We
Yeah.
won't use the word chakra.
Yes,
Yeah,
inner
right.
sense.
Right.
So is there any like, I don't know, I'll be sounding now a fool, but is it like then real or fake, or it's nothing? Like, what is it?
It has its own reality. It has its own reality. Can you get what I'm trying to say?
I'm trying, yes, I'm trying.
I'll explain to you. Yesterday we talked about 7. You were not here.
Yeah, but we talked about it at home.
We talked about 7 levels. Each level will have its own dreams. Can you get it? Now, the lowest level where we are will have a very animal quality of dream. But as we rise higher, there will be different qualities of dreams. Science can only catch those dreams in which there is rapid eye movement. Right? So, to a certain extent, science can catch dreams, but if we go into a deeper, higher body, then the dreams are not available to science. Right? But there must be consciousness in the dream to be able to reach that state of dream. Can you get what I'm trying to say? So, it requires somebody to guide you on how to work with dreams and to penetrate dreams and go into those higher dreams. What I'm trying to say, right? So there are different states of dreams of the different bodies as we rise higher in consciousness, and in dreams time and space compress. So you can, in your dream, you can go to 1,000 years ago. It has its different reality. You can go 100 years ahead, its own reality. And also, after death, for 55 days we are in a dream state. So if we have worked in this life in our dreams, after death we can work in that dream state. Can you get what I'm trying to say? In the night you have your own dream body. Today there are so many computer games where you create your avatar and put it in the computer. Right? So you are sitting outside the computer and your avatar is in the computer. Similarly, in the night, if you can bring consciousness in the dreams, you can work with your dream body. Your avatar is in the dream, you are sitting outside the dream. Right? And that avatar can be trained to work in a certain way. The dream body can be trained to work in a certain way. When we are born in the next life, we are born as little children. There is no way we can work as little children. There is no way. Can you understand? Yes. But the little child in the cradle is dreaming all the time. Yes. And if the avatar is carried forward from this life to next life, the child is different, the dream body is not different. It is the same dream body. Can you understand? And we can start our work upon ourselves even in the cradle. Okay, right? Yes. And that is why dreams are a different reality, right? And but it takes hard work to work with dreams, to penetrate the dream, to understand the dream, right? My guru used to make me work with dreams, and he would induce the dream. He would make a mental thought and the dream would come to me. And I had to tell him what I was doing in the dream. You understand? And once he put in such a dream that I was seeing 7 dreams at the same time. Dream within dream within dream. All 7. And next morning he was taking my homework. What did you do in those 7 dreams? Can you, right? So, but that is a whole different this thing, right? So, but we have to be ready for that. Have to be ready for that. Huh? Lucid dreaming is the beginning of this, no? Lucid dreaming is the beginning, where you become awake in your dream and you are aware of the dream and you start working with the dream. In lucid dreaming, you suddenly become aware of so many things. Here, if I walk, I'll bang with the wall. But in lucid dreaming, you'll go through the wall, right? Here, if I want to fly, I can't fly. But in lucid dreaming, you can fly.
Well, so what if you already are able to do that in your dreams, right? Not to a full control level. But you know you're dreaming in a dream and you can consciously make a decision or not make a decision in your
You
dream.
can make a?
You can make a decision or not make a decision in your dream. Like you can control your actions in your dream.
Very
right?
good. Then you're already lucid dreaming. You're one step ahead.
Right. So, I mean, what's the next step? What's the next step?
No, in the dream now, ask yourself the question, who is dreaming and what is the experience of the person who is dreaming? Right? And come to that. There should be the inner experience, sensitivity of the person who is seeing the dream. Right? Then one day you will wake up from this dream. This dream also. This is also a dream.
Right.
In a certain body, this is also a dream. Right? But if you're lucid, very good, start working upon it. Next time, ask yourself, who is this who's watching the dream? And you come to an answer. It is not Malhar who is watching the dream. There is a sensitivity of something beyond Malhar who is watching the dream. Right? And that is very precious, that sensitivity. That feeling of I is very precious. Not as Malhar. Right. Shall we stop here? Yeah? Thank you. Thank you.